What's up, everybody? This is NitroDiNsaneD, and I'm here to tell you a story today. Um, it's about one of the, well, I was only in one, well, two, I guess you can say, but I was in a severe car accident back when I was in high school. I wasn't the one driving. I'll leave the names disclosed in this story. But, alright, anyways, to it. So, when I was 16, back in sophomore year in high school, um, my best friend and I, we can't even think right now. Back in high school, when my buddy and I were sophomores, we dated a pair of twins, which was cool, you know. Um, but anyways, one day after school, we decided to go over, and parents weren't going to be there, so we figured, hey, we're going to do what we do. We're young, you know. And so school got out early that day, so we went over. It was probably about 2 o'clock, maybe. And their parents, they didn't, they worked out of town. So, we figured we had time to hang out, do whatever. And so we went over, he's just got his license not too long before. Oh shit. And brand new car. It was dope. It was I think it was like a 2002 or 2001 4Runner. It was pretty cool. We had a lot of fun in that car. And whoops. And so we went over, just gonna hang out, chill, do what we do, have a few drinks maybe, I don't know. But we went there and did what we did. And my girlfriend at the time got a phone call from her dad. It was maybe 4 o'clock at this point. He wasn't supposed to be back till 5:30, just like their mom. And he was asking, what do you want for dinner? I'm gonna go to the store. And, they usually had a lot of food there, so her being her, she's like, oh no, I don't want anything. Neither does my sister. He was like, okay. Well, in that case, I'll be home in a couple minutes. And she started freaking out. I was like, what's going on? She's like, my dad's gonna be home in like 2-3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes max. You guys need to get out of here. And we always parked on the other side of the house, on the other side of the fence, so no one could really, they wouldn't have an idea. I'm sure they did though, because it was on the complete opposite side of their house, and I'm sure they took that street a few times and noticed the vehicle there. But so we got our stuff together and gathered everything, rushed out. That day at school, we went to an all guys Catholic school, so that day we had mass. That's why we got out early. I believe it was a Friday or Thursday or something. We got out early, so we were all dressed up in our, dress clothes, whatever. And so we gathered all our stuff really quick and ran to the car, hopped the fence actually in the backyard, got into the 4Runner and dipped out. What we forgot though was that we had a bowling lesson. Yes, we bowled, and it's doing the thing again. And we were late. It was supposed to be at 4 o'clock. It was about 4 o'clock already. And so we hopped in, dipped out, and the bowling alley was probably about maybe 5 minutes driving, if that. So we're going down. It's a two-way street, and his girlfriend called him. That's what you do when you're in high school. You leave. Oh, I miss you. Blah blah blah. And so he's on the phone, and at this point, he's rushing because we're late, and he starts to accelerate. It's 25 miles per hour speed limit, and he accelerates, pushing maybe 75, 80, 85 miles an hour, and there's a car in front of us. Um, we hit the car. I mean, we don't hit the car. We go around the car on the other side of the street, going about 80, 85. And at this point, you're 16. You don't think anything's going to happen to you. So you're like, all right, just hanging out. He's on the phone, speeding on the wrong side of the street. Um, Next thing you know, he's swerving back in front of the other car. There's a stop sign, blows right through it. And there's a little bump, I guess you can call it. And we hit that, going 80, 85 miles an hour. And a sports utility vehicle, an SUV, you're more than likely going to bounce around. So we hit it, obviously, and started losing control. I'm not exactly sure what my friend did, but, we started turning, and the tires are screeching. So what I assume is he slammed on the brakes, and we started skidding, hit another little bump. The wheels were turned to the left, and next thing you know, car starts flipping. I get knocked out. I'm on the passenger side in the front, and flips on my side. I smash my head up against the roof of the vehicle, get knocked out. Next thing I know, I'm getting hit by my buddy. Wake up, we got to get out of the car. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure what happened because I got knocked out. But we get out of the vehicle. He has to pull me out on his side. My seatbelt ripped off. That's what I know. I had a fat mark on my arm all the way down to my hip. And so I have to get out of his side. My side of the vehicle is completely smashed up. If my seatbelt was still on, I probably would have had like half an inch maybe to my head before I got smashed in. So I get out. We're upside down in the middle of the street. The vehicle is facing the complete opposite direction at this point. And, we're just dumbfounded, being young. Like I said, assuming nothing was going to happen. So we get out, get to the side of the road. At this point, I'm like, oh crap, well, I have to get out of here because I'm not even supposed to be in your car right now because you just got your license. I was trying to find my other dress shoe. No idea where it was. And this old lady starts coming around. I assume she was one of the people that lived around there. But she comes around, and she saw everything that happened. Asked if we were okay. I was freaking out. I was like, this just happened right now. I was very dazed, confused. I had a severe concussion. I didn't find this out till later. And so she calls 911. Obviously, we're in no fit condition to get out of there at all. Obviously, the vehicle was trashed. So we're sitting on the side of the road, waiting for the emergency response team to get there. And one of our buddies went to school with us. He lived right across the street there, a little bit up. His dad comes running out, flipping out, starts yelling at us. You could have killed my daughter, this and that. You guys are idiots. And this lady, the one that initially found us, she was trying to calm him down. We were freaking. So she tries to calm him down. And what he does, being the dick he was at the time, he pushes her over. I'm sure he felt bad about it, but yeah, he pushed her over, and she fell down. And, whatever. And one of the other neighbors comes out, and, he's like trying to calm this guy down. Just calm down. They just had a really bad accident. So he calms down. He goes back to the house, calls us all these names, whatever, He was a dick. And So finally, the emergency response gets there. There's police, there's um, fire truck and ambulance, just to make sure we're okay, you know. Um, they had the sirens on and everything, and next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from my girlfriend at the time, and she's freaking out. She wasn't freaking out yet 'cause she didn't know what happened, but she's like, "Oh, we heard sirens. We just wanted to make sure you're okay." It was literally maybe 2 minutes after we left the house. Um, yeah, since I was shaking up and whatnot, I could barely talk. I was like, "Oh crap," blah blah blah, and so I'm like, "No, we just got into an accident," and she's like, "We were on speakerphone." She's like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, we just got into a severe accident. The car flipped, you know." And next thing you know, the phone's hung up, and literally 30 seconds later, they're coming running around the corner. No shoes on, and they're like, "Oh shit!" They're trying to come see us, but the emergency response team wouldn't let them. Um, they had me in a neck restraint, and then my buddy, he was fine. His seatbelt didn't rip off, so that was good. Um, and they started putting me on a stretcher because I have bad back pain, and they put him on a stretcher as well, just to be safe. And they put us in the ambulance. Um, Apparently, I seemed like I lost a lot of blood. Um, I didn't have any bleeding that was visible at the time. Anyway, so they put us in the ambulance, and they put an IV in me because I'm losing a lot of blood. Apparently, I looked pale, flush. Like things weren't good. Um, so we're in the ambulance, and they're asking us all these questions and whatnot. And I'm starting to get really dazed, confused, lose consciousness a little bit, and the closest hospital, well, the hospital that they took us to was about 15-20 minutes away driving. It's not that far. I went to this hospital a few times already before. My doctor was actually over there, and so on the way, like I said, they're asking us questions, trying to keep us, focused, make sure, there's nothing like no brain damage or anything like that. Um, and we get there, and they pull us out, where no one's even aware, like me or him, we're not aware if they contacted our parents or, if our girlfriends contacted a friend that contacted our parents. But anyways, we're there at the hospital. They're checking our vitals, giving us fluids, making sure we're okay. Oh shit! And maybe about an hour later, I'm sitting there. I'm in and out of consciousness, so I'm not really aware of what's going on. Besides my surrounding, I knew I was at the hospital.
Keep pushing. We got this.
And they're just, next thing you know, my best friend at the time, him and his mom come in, just make sure we're okay. A few minutes later, my parents come in, they're freaking out, like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" This and that. I'm there on the bed still, with the IV in my arm, and my phone keeps going off. With the IV in my arm, they're asking all these questions. Next thing I see, from what I remember, is my girlfriend walks in, her sister walks in, and both her parents walk in. It was, oh man, here we go. We're at the hospital. It's about to get weird. And they come in. They look concerned. Obviously, the dad looked pissed off because we were at their house. The accident was maybe 2 blocks down the street, and they just make sure we're okay. Like I said, I was in and out of consciousness. I was able to talk But
The 54 Immortals crush all opposition.
um, yeah. So, anyways, they go. They just want to make sure we're okay, and they knew what we were doing. 16 years old, whatever, curious, having fun, sneaking around. Anyways, so they stayed for maybe 30 minutes and left, um, just to make sure we were okay. And told my mom, I was like, my head hurts and I'm really dizzy. And my mom said, well, you probably have a concussion, is what the doctor said. I said, yeah, but it really hurts. I feel like my head's swollen, a lot of pressure. So my mom goes and looks at my head. I have a fat gash in the back of my head, a huge bump, lots of blood. My hair is pretty much red at this point in the back. I'm surprised that the doctor didn't even notice. Um, so she calls over the doctor and says, look, he has a lot of blood. There's a fat gash in his head. Um, can you take a look at it? And the doctor looked at it. He said, oh, wow. I mean, it's not cut open to the point where you need stitches, but you have a pretty big gash in your head. Um, that's probably why you've been really confused, dazed, in and out of consciousness. So we're going to give you some more fluids, and give you some ibuprofen, just so you don't get a headache, since you hit your head pretty hard. I was like, alright, cool, whatever. Anyway, so my parents would finally get to leave, and it's probably a few hours later, maybe 6, 7 o'clock at this point. We were there for a few hours, and we go home. My parents take me home, and like, just lay down. You're not going to school tomorrow. You had a severe concussion. And I was like, okay. So I just laid there, watched TV, slept quite a bit. Um, the next day I had homework, obviously, that I didn't do earlier in the day before. So I was like, alright, well, I'm just going to do my homework, relax here, and,
Hardcore team deathmatch.
hopefully things will be better Monday when I can go back to school. Um, so at this point, I'm just trying to do my homework, and I started to notice things like I can't remember this. I don't remember how to do this, and I was just really scared at this point. Not remembering what to do or how to do it. Now that's a scary thing. Just forgetting everything. But I told my mom, I'm like, how do you do this? I don't remember how to do this. Um, what class is this for? Is this geometry? Is this uh, trigonometry? I couldn't remember at all. Obviously, it was some sort of math. And my mom says, "Are you okay? Like, you should know this." I said, "No, I know I should know this, but I don't." So she calls the doctor, and she's asking him all sorts of questions, saying that I don't remember how to do certain things. I don't remember a lot of things. And the doctor turns around and says to her on the phone, yeah, he had a really bad concussion. Sometimes what happens is with the swelling, there's memory loss. I'm like, oh, great. So she tells me, I'm like, oh, man, really?
Be advised, hostile HCXD spotted.
And so I was like, all right, well, forgot how to do that. So, I'm going to have to study, teach myself all over again. Turns out that wasn't the only thing I forgot. There was a lot of grammatical things I forgot, and it was scary, forgetting things. I forgot a lot of memories. Um, anyway, so come Monday, I had to tell my teachers that I forgot how to do a lot of things. What happened, explain everything, the car accident, the concussion. Um, So, damn it, dude. They're understanding. They gave me some things to do to try and build up my ability again, which is very respectful. Um, so I did all the work, taught myself pretty much everything I learned freshman and sophomore year. I had to reteach myself.
Friendly care package incoming.
It was very tough for me to do, very difficult. But I did it. It had to be done. And come junior year, I was walking out with a 3.8 GPA. Very proud of myself. Um,
Friendly counter UAV inbound. Hostile UAV spotted.
oh, bro. So that all aside, it just goes to show how ignorant, how blind you can be when you're young. Just thinking you're invisible, which you aren't. You aren't invisible. Your actions are always there causing reactions, and it's scary. you know, I know my friend felt really bad. He had to do a community service because of his incident, because of the crash, and he was very apologetic. Obviously I had an option of going to court, taking him to court. He was my best friend. I didn't want to do that to him, but you know, that aside, um, we still talk now. Um, he doesn't do what he used to do, and he was very sorry. Um, you know, I apologize too. I should have said something, when he was on the, speeding while on the phone.
Care package incoming.
But we're both safe. We're both happy now, and living our lives. I moved out of town, and just living my life. Just be happy that I'm here, healthy, alive, and just aware of what can happen. So after that, I remember when I got my first vehicle, I was stupid for a quick minute, but then I turned around. I was like, this is not smart. I'm gonna do what my buddy did, and it's gonna be terrifying. Um, so ever since then, been driving safe, been doing the right thing. So, anyways, that's it for this video. I'll have more later on. I might record another video today. I have to edit this one first.
UAV inbound.
So yeah, like, subscribe, share. Just let everyone know that you can't be doing things like that. Just your life is precious. You don't want to lose the life you're given. So, anyways, this is NitroDiNsaneD, and I'm out.
Storm inbound.
And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.